Hey everybody, welcome back to the second video. I said I would record today, so hopefully you guys understand. I am going to be wearing the same shirt. I am still playing the same video in the background, and I am in the same unfurnished, partially unfurnished apartment overlooking the city of Houston. So anyway, if you guys are interested in the stream that you guys are seeing in the background with me and Hot Kyle duking at it, this was actually, I think, a pretty contentious stream. We were kind of at each other's throats. Respectfully, of course, the entire time. And anyway, if you guys are interested, we do streams every Friday night, so check us out on passiveincomeeducator.com, and also the channel, the YouTube channel, Passive Income Educator, which I'll have down in the description below. And yes, if you guys haven't, feel free to check us out on passiveincomeeducator.com. I have a little bit of blog articles on there, and we also offer some courses and stuff of the like for relatively cheap. WhatsApp group, whatever you guys want. Feel free to do that. Also follow me on Instagram if you don't already. It shows a little bit of the options income trading that I do, and highlight a little bit more about what I'm trading and why, and also you get to see a little bit more of my day-to-day life, which is kind of always cool to be able to connect with people that you see online, and see things on that sort of perspective. So at the moment, $540,000, $550,000 in the portfolio, $17,000 in dividend income coming from the $388,000 in the dividend aspect of the portfolio. Still looking to take that $160,000 you see there in the 401k, roll it over to a Roth, and figure out what I can do with that. Hopefully get a little bit of cash, maybe do some more cash secured puts in the Roth, but we will see with that. But speaking of cash secured puts, if you guys just watched my previous video where I talked a little bit about my October dividend income or just income in general, you'll see the amount of options income I made was over $10,000 this month, and almost close to $11,000, which was very surprising, but I anticipate this is an anomalous month. I did have some really good opportunities with the premiums that I did see on particularly Intel as well as Palantir, and so I took advantage of those. So what I'm trying to aim for in the future, and the purpose of this video, is to basically relieve some of the people's minds of what was in my previous video where I talked about how I'm going to sell all my stocks and become strictly an options trader. And that's just truly not the case. I mean, yes, it would be nice to be able to have an additional $10,000 a month coming into the portfolio. But like I said, I think that's an anomalous month. And I think it's just a luck of the draw and me just kind of being at my computer all day. What I'm going to aim for more so is around $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Is that going to happen? I don't know. But even if it does, a lot of that money will be going back into buying dividend paying stocks. And the reason why is I want to highlight this strategy because the last video I did, I think a lot of people anticipated that I actually am selling. Maybe they weren't listening to the video as in depth as I wanted, or maybe I just didn't approach it and give a good enough perspective view. But what I anticipate is it's going to be a two-way strategy, very simply said, that I will continue to do my dividend investing. I'll continue to bring those investments up to fruition, and that is what I'm going to be using to pay my bills. The dividend portfolio, the passive portfolio, I think that is probably the most important one to look at. And the way I look at it is options income will help accelerate that. It'll allow me to get the nest egg to be bigger and bigger and bigger, and hopefully utilize a lot of that money to invest back into dividend stocks. At 4 to 5% yield, $4,000 to $5,000 a month will get me $160 to $250 a year in additional income. So if you invest $4,000 to $5,000 extra a month, you're going to be able to get that $160 to $250 extra a year in dividend income. And after a while, it really starts to snowball on itself as well, right? We've already started to see the $17,000 kind of snowball on itself. Just increase that by 10%. It's another $1,700 a year. If it were to say grow the dividends by 10%, now of course I don't expect that, probably closer to 5 to 6%, which would be about half that at about 650 to 750 or so a year just by raising the dividends in a lot of those portfolios and a lot of those stocks. But I am going to utilize options income for sure. But what I can say is I don't necessarily think that will be entirely the only way that I fund the portfolio. I'm still going to be funding the portfolio with my normal 9 to 5 job as well. And I do want to highlight the fact that I feel like I did take a lot of risk on and have a lot of capital at work in this month here. And what I want to do is kind of bring that back a little bit and get a little bit more diligent about spreading that risk around, and aim for that 4,000 to 5,000 mark. Now, if I'm able to do that consistently and be able to get the dividend income up rather quickly, maybe to the $25,000 to $30,000 range on its own, then we might be having a different conversation in 6 months to a year from now about specifically, what I'm able to do. But it was an anomalous month. I'm not going to make any rash decisions on an anomalous month. If we just kind of look at it rather quickly, we could see that the options income, kind of from covered calls, and I didn't really track it before, and I was doing some covered calls here and there, but I really started getting serious about it back in the June time frame. And you can see it steadily kind of increased a little bit, where I was mostly focusing on covered calls for the months of June, July, and August. And then I started getting more into the cash secured put side of things at the end of September. You can see the income jumped up to 1,000 there. And then of course I went haywire in October and really had a good month with respect to that, and got up to almost $11,000 in options income just from that. But like I said, it's an anomaly at the moment. I mean, you see just a couple months before is, almost all of them were under $1,000. And so, I'm going to try to aim for that $1,000 mark, hopefully with the upper goal to be like 4,000 to 5,000 on average as I continue. And if I'm able to sustain that, we're going to have a different conversation in 6 months to a year. But at the moment, I view it as anomalous. I view it as me still trying to learn. I view it as me trying to implement a new strategy. And I don't want to make any rash decisions about like, oh, I'm going to sell all my dividend stocks and go that one way or the other. Because at the end of the day, I view the dividend stocks as completely passive, which is something that I want, that passive aspect of the portfolio. And I don't have to work for it. If you guys saw my previous video and I went through like almost all the transactions that I had to do in order to get that $11,000, it was a lot. And I was watching the market like a hawk all day, every day almost. And it required a lot more work. And so if I'm traveling, or I'm in a remote location where I don't necessarily have internet, it's going to be difficult. And to give you an example, when I was living in Trinidad, I didn't necessarily have access to my US accounts like on hand, right? And when I was traveling a little bit, sometimes when I travel, I'll just include the international sort of investments, international internet, which generally speaking, you get like a gig or a couple megs or something stupid no, it's not a couple megs, it's like a gig or two of data before they like throttle you down. And knowing me, I watch a lot of videos, I do a lot of work online, and so I would run through 1 or 2 gigs of that rather quickly. And so then if you're trying to day trade options on a subpar sort of internet, not going to work out so well. And then also probably trying to visit remote places around the world, not necessarily just in Asia, but in South America, where cell service I'm sure isn't that great. And trying to get cell service and data while you're kind of in remote places, whether it's in Central America, South America, Asia, Australia, wherever in the future, you can't necessarily rely on some of those trades, right? You almost have to schedule your trading and your options around certain times of expiry, like every other month or every other week or what have you. So you can be like, okay, on this Thursday, Friday, I'm going to be in the hotel where there's an internet connection, so that way I can make sure I don't blow up my account, because you can do that if you don't know what you're doing. And if you have a little bit more diligence, you have a lot more time to watch, you have that ability to react and shift things out. But yeah, so that's kind of the more in-depth view. Is I hope to really get more in-depth with options income, utilize it as a strategy to continue to build the nest egg. But I'm going to rely solely on the dividend income for the time being, because I don't necessarily know how consistent I can get with the options income. So I know I'm speaking in circles, but I just want to iterate to you guys that I'm not selling all my dividend stocks. A lot of you guys started chirping up, jumping to the rash conclusion. And yes, I know it was a clickbaity sort of title. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video I released like last week talking a little bit about if I were to sell all my dividend stocks, this is the strategy I would utilize to do it. So anyway, second of 4 videos that I wanted to record today. So hopefully that helps out with you guys and understand a little bit more of the perspective that I want to utilize for options income. It's in its infancy in my strategy. It's done well for a lot of folks that I know, and really hope to see it continue. And hopefully if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more, want that one-on-one coaching, because I know sometimes watching the videos, it takes a little bit of time, but maybe sitting with someone will help you out. Check us out on Passive Income Educator. Sorry about that. Siri freaked out. Hopefully she doesn't come back. I think we're good. So anyway, if you want a little bit more one-on-one time with the options aspect of things, reach out to me or Kyle and Passive Income Educator. We have some private streams, Walker with me and Hot Dave. And also I'm planning on doing a private stream as well for you guys that are members of the Passive Income Educator membership group, specifically talking about cash secure puts, a lot of the things that I'm doing to be able to generate that income. I hope to have obviously me streaming face-to-face, then also me drawing basically my strategy in terms of charts and what I'm kind of doing on a month-to-month time frame, so you can kind of see in time what the strategy is that I utilize to hopefully continue to get 4,000 to 5,000 or so a month in options income. But you can just see how great of an opportunity it is. If I'm able to average $1,000 to $1,200 a month, which is kind of what I've averaged in the whole year so far for 2020 in options income, I'm gonna be able to generate $15,000, which is awesome, right? I mean, if I can consistently do that, $15,000, I don't know, what's that times 0.04? It's like $600 a year in extra dividend income. So if I'm able to get an extra $600 a year in dividend income by contributing an additional $15,000, I mean, that's awesome, right? I mean, a lot of people can't invest $15,000 from their 9 to 5. So really looking forward to adding this opportunity. And if I am able to increase it to 4,000 to 5,000, I mean, that'll end up being $30,000 to $40,000 next year just in additional income I'm able to add to the dividend portfolio. And if you're kind of including that, that's an additional $2,000 or so of dividend income that I can get from that additional contributions, which is really the key, is to get that dividend distributions up so I can retire as soon as possible. So anyway, guys, hopefully that clarifies some things. Hopefully I don't get some more chirping up in the comments, but if I do, hey man, it's part of the game, and really hope you guys are enjoying the videos and evolving with me as I'm evolving with my own strategy and really trying to achieve those goals. But one of the other things I actually mentioned in this stream here, which I thought was really intelligent, is a lot of folks try to utilize all the different sort of strategies within stock market on their own. And I think one of the key things that they need to recognize is they need to recognize what tool they need for the job. So if you have a screw, you're not gonna, if you have a screwdriver, you're not gonna try to nail in a nail using a screwdriver. You're gonna get a hammer. And so what I mean by that is if you're trying to get income from your dividend stocks, you're not gonna invest in a growth fund. Or if you want growth, you're not gonna invest in dividend stocks, right? It's just understanding the tools that work for you and the strategy that works for you and utilizing the tools that you best need to be able to get that job done. So the stock market is only just a tool for building wealth. Derivatives are only a tool for building wealth. It's about how you use them and do they fit your strategy, and you'll be able to get the job done with what you want. So yeah, I mean, options trading and options selling and premium selling for me is another strategy to be able to get that dividend income up and get income overall in the portfolio that I can utilize to expand the portfolio and get some more growth in the portfolio as well, in terms of being able to add more capital as soon as possible. But I'm not going to get overly aggressive with it. If I wanted to get more risky, I'd be buying premium. It's a different story. But we'll always have some folks in the comment section that don't fully understand, just like I didn't fully understand, and they'll chirp up. So hope this one helps, guys. Hopefully the editing was okay, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Cheers.